Good evening. I'm Pamela Tate Roger, based out of the San Francisco Bay Area, and we are talking about becoming bloggers. And so our topic is, so you want to start a travel blog. This is part 3. Our first week, we did an introduction to blogging. We talked about content that was important for a blog, and then we went to week number 2 and we reviewed platforms. We looked at Blogger and we also looked at Wix. Tonight we will be reviewing WordPress. We looked at 2 pretty awesome travel bloggers last week as well, Gabby Beckford, Pax Light, and then Gloria Antamo, and she is, I never remember her blog name, Blog Around the World. There's several other ones that we are going to be reviewing in the next couple of weeks as well. Let's see. So I'm going to go on, and I think I am, yes, recording, so that is awesome. We're going to switch over and do a different share. And so we're going to go right into WordPress. Okay, that's interesting. Never seen my screen do that before, so I apologize. So we're going to look at WordPress and kind of get a feel of different blog themes that are available to kind of select what you want to do in terms of your blog. So I asked Shay Nicole, is she planning to blog, but are any of you considering making a blog? If so, feel free to chime in now. You can just unmute your line and let me know. Because it's a great thing to do. And again, it can be as small or as large as you make it. You can start with 1 weekly post. You can do multiple posts a week. When I had a regular blog that was a non-travel blog, I did 3 days a week, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. It wasn't travel. It was mostly life blogging. And again, just because you're on here, don't feel like you have to make a travel blog. Mine was on women's health and children's issues. And I was a mother who had a special needs child and 2 other children, and just kind of talked about that, and of course, health and wellness. And so that was my topic, and it literally ran me Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. And of course, any other topics that kind of came up or arose. So we're going to look at WordPress tonight. And has anybody ever worked on a WordPress website or looked at a WordPress platform for blogging before? Y'all quiet tonight. Remember, if you're typing in the chat box, I can't read it, so feel free to go on and comment.
This is Nancy. Yes, I have.
Okay, awesome. Was it a travel blog or just a general life blog?
No, actually just a life blog. I just actually started a few weeks ago, but I did use WordPress a long time ago for different, like a website.
Yeah.
But for the blogging posts, I was using Blogger.
We looked at that the first week.
Yeah, and I'm sorry I missed that.
Too. That's okay. Yep. It's recorded. It's on my YouTube channel, and also if you found this page from the Rise and Grind page, it was posted in the group. So
perfect. Thank you.
Have access to those first 2 weeks as well. But we're going to go on and start looking at WordPress. When most people think about WordPress, they do tend to think about websites. I've had a website on WordPress as well as a blog. It's been a while since I've used both. They do have paid pages. They have some pretty phenomenal layouts. The more you pay, the more elaborate they get. You can add things like this will kind of tell how long ago it's been for me. They had just started adding online stores. And so that's just kind of been it. But it's a great platform. It can be relatively simple. It does have where you can actually, if you know code or are interested in learning code, you can actually write custom code, or you can follow into their general themes and really, really make some great activities and things on your blog. And that's one of the platforms, like I said, I really enjoy using. And so, I enjoy it. So we're going to just kind of go through here and kind of take a look at WordPress. So we would start off with getting WordPress. And so it is priceless and also free. And y'all know we're Evolution Travel Agents. We like free 99, right? I love things that are free to start off. And then what you do is once you've gotten it and it's free, you know, you can add all those bells and whistles. Like I want to pay for an online store and I want to do this and I want to do that. Those things will cost you, but you can totally set up your information for free. So that's one of the great things about the platform as well. So let's see, we are going to just kind of start looking at some themes. And I did that and decided I don't want to download in this computer, and I didn't think of that. So we're going to take that off. I should have done this on my desktop, not my laptop, because I'm working from home and I don't want it to slow me down. So we're going to go back out to our original screen. There we go. And let's look at some themes. Now, when you look at this, you can go to popular. They have 3,963. And so all kinds of variations. And we're going to take a look at a few of those. So let's go to the latest and see what are the latest themes that they have that are really up there. Okay, we have this Map Pro. Actually, if I don't touch them, I think you can see them better. If anybody's having problems seeing anything, let me know. I can kind of touch them later. Again, I did not think of this, so I apologize. I don't want anything downloading into my computer or slowing it down at this point. But they have some pretty great themes. Wishful Travel. I told a story. We're going to press that. I just kind of like the look of it, and let's just take a look and see what it feels like. So, Wishful Travel by Wishful Themes. And this is something that was added on April the 2nd. And I'm going to go down through here. And so this is a pretty decent format, right? We're going to do a preview. Okay, so in looking at this preview, they have several different things that are on here where you can kind of change elements. It shows you doing tags, but it's taking the graphic out. So we're going to go on. I'm going to wind up having to download and take this off, I can tell. Y'all pray for me. I don't want to slow down my computer. And that is a big file. So let's see what we can look at here. Yeah, I'm not doing all this. I apologize for that. That's a lot. There's like 14 files up in there. So we're going to go ahead back. Cross out. And somehow you all popped up on the side of my screen. So I'm going to move you back down so I can see. All right. So I'm going to go back to the themes list. Okay. So again, looking at the different things that are available for us to do. I didn't realize I was going to have to download with this particular platform in order to like see what the pages look like when you go through them. If anybody sees something really fascinating and they want me to stop, this is a great looking format for if somebody wanted to do a blog with this, right? It's clean. You could actually list out 3 themes here, like 3 different trips or 3 different articles there on the front. Nice clean header there. Layout has your home page. It tells you a description of each page and then your text content. And so it's got your tags at the bottom and stats, which are awesome as well. Now it looks like we're not going to do like we did with the other one, where I actually kind of made their a template, because again, I don't wish to load this type of graphic into my laptop. It's pretty memory involved. And I'm feeling like it would probably be better to look at the themes this way. So we're going to go back to that. Oh, this looks nice. This news quote, nice little picture layout. Just thoughts and notes. You all go on and chime in and let me know if you see something that you like me to pit stop on. Adaptable notes. That's what that looks like. So you have your header area here. And then this is where your articles would line up. Always the most recent on top, working its way down to the bottom. So it says it's SEO friendly and responsive theme made for blogging, which is great as well.
So Ms. Pam, these are just one page?
No, they become additional pages as you type. So
Okay.
your things will roll down, and then also you usually have an about me page. Here it says about us. So you have a blog page, your home page is your general page. Blog will line up all of your blog posts. Then an about us page, which you can talk about your blog or yourself, and then a contact page. And some do have more pages than that. This looks like it has more than that. So let's see what's on it. Not so much for layout. This looks like it's a shopping store, but as you can see, it's got more pages. So home, still having the same issue I had last week with the glasses. Shop, different collections that are for sale there. This one, can't even read it. Is that Outriggers? Gutenberg blog, and then contact. So a lot of these have pages that are already pre-built, but you can also add pages, generally speaking. And this is definitely a lot less lively than it was for us using Blogger and Wix. Like I say, there are so many possibilities with using WordPress because it has a large amount of variety, and it is very heavy in graphics and materials that you can use and pull to create your blog. You have to download it, and for me, I just don't want to put that kind of stuff into my computer. Like I say, currently working from home, and I need to keep my speed up on my laptop. But like, oh, this one's nice, Lorena. You all can kind of tell what feels like a blogger's kind of page, right? Generally, you want something that's got clean lines for your photos. We talked about colors and themes in terms of whatever your brand is for your business, as well as your blog, and how those colors should be uniform. So you don't want to come up with like a purple blog, but your logo is chartreuse green, unless the chartreuse green matches the purple, because when you put all those things together and put together like a press kit, if you were doing something, it's going to be really, really ultra bright and not conservative and visually distracting to people. So you do want to try and keep things along the same color scheme. If you have a logo, try and incorporate colors and themes from your logo into your blog page. If your blog is the first thing that you're going to do, then, you know, get something that is going to be reflective of your of what you envision your brand to be until you actually have a logo. Any questions along those lines? So we've looked at quite a few themes. So now we're going to just kind of move our way down. They have plugins and different things that you can add into your blog. They have pop-up builders. They have where you can add in payments if you're doing an online store, where you can add in PayPal. Oh, this is a PayPal donation block. Usually they take things like Stripe. They'll take things like Square. Depends on what your merchant is, but it's pretty comprehensive where you can pretty much add anything. They have an anti-spam program. They have the classic editor. They have BB Press, which will let contributors add to your blog. If you're blogging, and again, this is something we didn't go too far out in, we kind of talked about if you had a guest blogger as in terms of content, but we're not going to be heavily focusing on content until we actually have a blog created like we did in Blogger or Wix. So I guess next week I will pick one of those two to kind of like start to fill in and make our blog a living, breathing thing or blog, so that we can kind of get a feel of what type of articles would go on there, what type of guests would you bring on and write about. I used to have on my blog, what I would do is contact different writers, like novel writers, new writers, and contact them and ask 5 questions. Who was their most, where did they get their influence to write? And then I'd ask, what was the most important thing they learned about writing? Tell me something about the process of writing your first book. And I forget what the other 2 questions were, but it was always the same 5 questions. And I'd always have one person be my guest blogger, or my, guest on my blog per month to answer those questions. You could also ask someone to actually write a blog on your blog. If you are writing a lot of content, and say you're doing 3 days a week or 5 days a week, there's nothing wrong with asking someone to be a guest poster on your blog, meaning they're going to serve as a guest blogger. People appreciate that, and it's a great way to add content into your page if you're traveling or taking a vacation or just need a break. Okay. So here we go, more plugins. They have auto updates where to automatically update any changes that have occurred with WordPress. There's Gutenberg, which plugs in for editing and customization. You have background imaging. You have all types of popular plugins. The contact form, where you can make that as short or as long as you want, where it almost can be like having a jot form to collect a bunch of data. They have SEO, where it's making sure that you're optimizing your words in your blogs, and it's counting those SEOs so that you can actually build up readership with your blog. Then they have create plugins. And then there are other plugins as well that you can add. Excuse me. And I'm sorry, you all, I'm a little winded tonight. Then there is WordPress Mobile, which I actually love. I have a blog still, which is just a personal blog, and I blog exclusively from my phone. Once I had my setup done, literally I just downloaded the app and put it in my phone, and whatever I'm feeling or need to write about, it posts directly from my phone. It's really easy to do and utilize, because I'm not using a lot of photos, because again, it's not a travel blog. But if you're interested in doing a travel blog, you want to make sure you pick a theme that's really generous on photos. Because if you're writing about another country, or if you're writing about a trip, or if you're writing about a destination, you want to make sure you can give people a great feeling about that destination, inclusive of photos, because photos are going to sell that particular location. Did anybody have any questions up to this point? No? Okay. So WordPress has really, really great support. They have forums. They have huge forums where customers or clients will answer questions and really, really help you with problem solving to make sure that you're able to do what it is that you envisioned doing with your blog. They also have hosting options through them. One thing you'll find out is when you're using different platforms, sometimes they have their own internal hosts or partnerships that they use, and it can stay and remain affordable, or if it stays free, you're just going to wind up with a really, really long website. And I know most of you know how we can buy a GoDaddy address and then you just mask the address to cover what your website is. What you'll find in blog posting a lot of time is that is how they monetize, and they don't allow you to do that. They want you to select them as a host or select a different host, because then they're going to get paid off of that. They're giving you a free platform base. And so that is where they make their money, is by where the blog is landing or posting. So if you're not planning to continue with the free one, check around and look for what is going to work for you and what is going to give you the cheapest amount of costs on a monthly basis. It is cheaper to pay for your year of hosting than it is to do this on a monthly basis. But, you know, if you don't have your funds saved up, it's definitely better to do it on a monthly basis. And so you have some options here with who WordPress works with for hosting. You have Bluehost, excuse me, we have DreamHost, and then we have SiteGround. Those are their three. Now, if you decide to run your blog from WordPress, and you decide that you want to move it to another site, you can do that, but that site is going to charge you, and usually it's going to have a little bit of a cost associated to move it from WordPress to that other site. Wix will let you host there for free with a long address. You can mask it, but you'll pay like the minimum amount for masking. I believe it's like $8.99 or something like that. Same thing with Blogger. So the thing again, as we talked about Wix, I have a website built on Wix. I built my website on the Wix platform. And so you actually have a blog that is incorporated into your page on some of the templates. And so I actually have a blog that's embedded into my website. I'm revisiting and redoing my website right now, but I don't have to pay for an additional hosted site to host my blog. And because it is part of my web page, it actually is already inclusive of my logo and the theme. And so the theme just continues onto the blog space. So if I tell someone to connect and look at my blog, I can pull the blog address and it'll go directly to the blog. It still has my logo. It still has that same familiar theme. But if I do it the long address way, that's free, it's the same. But if you're using Blogger and you also have a Wix website, which is fine, or if you have MoPro or you're paying someone to host your website, you really want to be cognizant of making sure that you have a uniform color theme, you have uniform fonts, because fonts can be very visually distracting. And so if you're using, like, say Georgia on your blog, but then your main body of your website is using Arial, sometimes those can visually battle each other. And so you just want to be consistent in terms of text, the writing, formatting. If you're doing double space, you don't all of a sudden switch to space and a half. You just want to be consistent. These are things that people's eyes automatically focus on, even when we watch things and don't know what's visually bothering us, and you just kind of go, something feels weird when I look at that. We pick things up all the time. Sometimes we can identify what it is, but it does impact your thought on what you're looking at. So you do want to make sure that it's consistent. Does anybody else have any questions at this time? Okay, y'all quiet again. That's all right. Next week, we are going to go back and pick which one we're going to use, Wix or either Blogger, and we're actually going to do a blog. So we've already got those 2 pages already set up and ready to roll. And so I'll have an article or something that I'll copy from Travel Weekly or something, and then we will dump that into a blog post and see just how quickly your blog can come to life and get started. Because I think it's important. We've talked about, what you need to do, and now we're just going to start to do it. We'll talk about content, we'll talk about guest bloggers, we'll talk about frequency of blog, and really, really get down into the meat and bones of it. Sounds like a plan, everybody?
Yes.
Awesome.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right.
Yes.
Well, you guys know I always try and keep these down to 25 to 30 minutes. So I'm going to go on and log off of here, and I'm still having a little congestion issue with being post sick. So I am going to go on and get myself off of here, but I will get this posted up by tomorrow. Anybody have any questions, feel free to inbox me, and I will make sure that the link is posted back up for parts 1 and 2, as well as 3 when it's loaded tomorrow in the Rise and Grind page, so no person is left behind and we can all move together next week. Sounds great. And thank you all for being here, and have an absolutely amazing evening.
Okay,
Thank
you
you.
too. Take care, Miss Pam.
You
Thank
too.
you.
Good night.
Good night. I will see y'all next week.